if you could tell us a little bit about what DevSecOps means to you, right? Because this is it's a marketing term that's kind of very overloaded. So why don't we start with what does DevSecOps mean for you, and then what the joint program is hoping to accomplish.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, when I started, we were already massively adopting DevOps, and I found it to be a little lacking on the cyber side, and not just the basic static dynamic analysis. I think that's DevOps, and we all agree that's part of the basic pipeline. What we like to think of DevSecOps is really more about the continuous monitoring piece, the baked-in security. So we use the concept of sidecar containers to inject a lot of the cyber stuff. We use a service mesh like Istio to do the enforcement of zero trust. And more importantly, also we have a behavior detection, not just scanning of CV. So we have a continuous monitoring with AI machine learning, behavior-based detection. So we proactively kill containers if they drift in behavior, and then we use infrastructure as code and GitOps. And so those are kind of the foundation of DevSecOps. And for us, it's on Kubernetes, it's on OCI compliant containers, it's the service mesh, and it's the decoupling of these microservices, so we can release at a pace of relevance. And particularly for weapon systems, we run Kubernetes on jets, bombers, weapon systems, space systems, nuclear systems, and it's really obviously critical, and you can mess up. I think it's not like a mobile app on at a retailer, right? Obviously, a lot of security, air-gapped environment, classified clouds, on-premise, edge use cases, on the jet, on the device itself. So a lot of complexity, and having that abstraction layer and that orchestration and the self-healing, that enforcement of baked-in cyber as a sidecar model, which really, when people really understand it, I think many people still struggle with the sidecar model. But one of the great example of that is Envoy with Istio, right? On how they can inject capability directly without having to touch really the container itself. That gives you that abstraction and decoupling that is really game changing when you start using different programming languages. We have 16 programming languages, 23 databases on our stack. So and the DevSecOps initiatives, it's a joint team with the CIO. I'm the co-lead with the CIO, and we're trying to really bring a couple of things. One is that architecture, design, and abstraction and cyber stack. And then we have enterprise teams. And I think for organizations that have the size of DoD, and we're the largest organization on the planet, obviously, both in terms of budget and people, I have 100,000 people to train just in 1 year. That's just 1 year. Yep. You can imagine the complexity of that. And the size of, just F-35 is $1 trillion funding with a T, right? So in 10 years. So I don't know if you know many programs that have that kind of money. I don't on the commercial side.
That's really few and far between, right?
And really, that gives you, though, right, the kind of an understanding of the scale. And we want to bring enterprise capabilities, right? We want to bring, first, we have the Iron Bank, and we have cool names, right? We have the Iron Bank, which is this centralized repo of containers, kind of a Docker Hub on storage with more secure, more better scanning, more assessment. And I can tell you, we found so much stuff that people missed over the years on a lot of projects, including some of the most used open source and commercial projects in DevSecOps, and we make them patch it, and everything we do is open source. That's also a big push that I did. I managed to convince the DoD to open source back everything we do. Everything is open source. All the infrastructure as code, the Terraform, the containers, the Docker files, and then we sign the containers with a key, a DoD key, and those are even available for download. So we can be your registry of container. So you can pull these somewhat more trusted, I guess, supply chain, at least trusted bits. And we have about 200, containers right now. Some of the more critical stuff that everybody pretty much use, from, databases, API gateways, service mesh. I mean, we have Istio, of course. We have Knative, and we have a bunch of different things. But that's kind of the vision, is to bring that enterprise capability. So teams can stop, reinventing the wheel and focus on their mission software, and not have to rebuild the platform team, build a service mesh, and we support multiple Kubernetes distribution. We use OpenShift, we use Convoy, we use Rancher, we use VMware. So we have a bunch of options, and we're looking at even more options now. The complexity also for us is we have to run on real-time OS. Not many people even know what real-time OS is, but all these systems run on real-time, time-sensitive OSs for embedded systems, and same thing for cars and space systems and stuff like that. So we're bringing Kubernetes on real-time systems, which is a whole set of other challenges as well.
Yeah, I'm curious. We may, if we have some time at the end, I'd love to dig into some of the challenges there, because I think that's something that not a lot of people have dealt with.